Good morning. Come on in. Come on in. Good morning. Good morning. Hi there, my friends. Come on in. I know there's a little bit of a delay. I tried something a little different this morning. Didn't work, so I'm going to have to practice with it a little bit. Good morning. Come on in, my friends. Let's see. Here we go. That shared out. Good morning, Chainbreakers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in. It is Thursday, October the 31st, 2019, and this is going to be another fantastic day. Hi, I'm Brad Smith. I am your host for Chainbreakers 365 and the creator of hashtag Uplift and Rise. I'll welcome you here today. This is going to be a very interesting weather day, but it is going to be a fantastic day because that's the way I choose for my day to be. I want to welcome you here today. I'm going to get into something a little bit Halloween oriented. Good morning, Jeremy and Joe. How are you guys this morning? Glad to have you here. Today we're going to talk about, and the title of the program is, Oh, the Masks We Wear, and not just on Halloween. So what am I talking about? When I'm talking about masks, I'm talking about a lot of different things. I'm talking about the persona that we try to put on, the air we try to put on, the personality we try to put on, the impression we want to create when we're dealing with others. Good morning, Laura. A lot of times, and there's different masks we wear for different situations. There's different kinds of personas we want to create when we're dealing with certain people. We put on masks when we deal with our employers, our bosses, right? We want to create certain impressions, so we put on that mask. If we're single and in the dating world, we put on a mask trying to create a certain impression with somebody. When we're dealing with, if we're salespeople, if we're dealing with customers, we're putting on a mask of the impression that we want to create. And yes, unfortunately, there's those that walk into church on Sunday and put a mask on that they're not the same person that they've been for the last 6. So there are different masks that we wear, impressions we want to create. And a lot of times with those masks, what we're really doing is we're creating a false image. I mean, truly, we're not putting our own true self forward. It may be the person we think we're putting our best foot forward, but is that our true self? Personally, I like dealing with people when the masks come off. Because when the masks come off, that's where drama disappears. That's where all of the angst, all of the emotion, all of the lies or the false persona disappears. And we're able to really deal with our true emotions. We're able to deal with truth in what we're trying to do, truth in what we're trying to create. When the masks come off, that's when truth comes out. That's when our true self is honestly put forward and we're able to be the person we truly need to be. So why do we hide behind our masks? Why do we hide behind the impression we want to create? Why can't we just be ourselves? Sometimes when we put on those masks, because we do that out of fear. We do that out of the fact that we think that if people really know who we are, they're not going to like us. If people really know who we are, we're not going to get across the impression we want to create. If we put our true self out, the point we want to emphasize gets lost. Well, does it? Or does it really get lost in the lies that we hide behind? Today, at a lot of people's doors across the country, families are going to be out there with children. They're going to be celebrating Halloween. It's our one time a year we really are able to put a mask on and be somebody that we maybe aren't. Or is that person or that mask or that costume we're putting on, is that more a representation of our true inner self? So I ask you today, if you're dressing up for Halloween, think about it for a second and just answer, maybe to yourself, maybe on here if you want to, what you're going to be for Halloween. And here's the question: is that costume or that mask that you're putting on more a representation of your true self than what you normally put out? So I think in a lot of cases, if we really get honest with people, if true honesty is able to shine through and we're able to drop all the false airs, all the we can just be real about who we are, maybe that's where really something really can happen. Maybe that's something where it can really come through and those false airs, all the drama goes away. There's a lot of people in dealing still with our partners that we're still dealing with masks. Sometimes we want to make sure that we're still creating impressions of what is or isn't going on within us. We're trying to maybe do that out of protection for the other person. Maybe we're trying to protect their feelings, but maybe it is that we just don't want to let them in. So I guess at some point, are you really being real? Are you being real at church? Are you afraid that if you really were able to lay yourself out at the altar, what would people's impressions be behind you? Is that a thought that goes on in your mind before you walk up to the altar? Is that maybe what keeps you from going to the altar? Sometimes people have to be totally broken before we're willing to set those masks aside and reveal our true self, before we're really being real enough to ask for help. Sometimes, my friends, if we can simply put those masks aside and turn to our partner and ask for help, turn to our boss and ask for help, turn to our coworkers and ask for help, turn to our friends and ask for help, maybe that's where help really comes from. In truly being real. You see, my friends, what we fail to really realize is that sometimes in truly being real, what we're able to create, that's where true connection really happens. By letting down the walls and letting somebody in to your personal space, into your emotional barriers, that's where true relationship is actually able to be created. That's where true connection with your partner actually happens as well. Maybe our bosses, because of those airs that we put on, those impressions we want to create, maybe they're not able to turn around and help us because we're not being real. They don't know what we really need because we're trying to give them the impression that we don't need it. We're trying to give them the impression that we've already got our stuff together. But when it really comes out in your behavior, in your results, in your actions, it always comes out in the end. The truth is always revealed. The mask eventually has to come off, whether you take it off or whether you're exposed. And exposure, many times, isn't the way you want it to be. It isn't under the terms and the conditions that you want it to be in. It isn't in who you want them to see. What they then see is the other extreme of the brokenness. They see the other extreme of the person you didn't want. So maybe in revealing who you are in reality to somebody a little bit at a time, even baby steps sometimes get you closer to the point where you can reveal enough of yourself to where you can get help, to reveal enough of yourself that you let somebody in that they can now really figure out how to help you. Maybe it's in that revealing of yourself where connection can really take place, where connection between you and your partner, between you and your children. Do you ever realize that sometimes with our children, we sit there and criticize or correct the behavior of our children for doing things that we did as ourselves as children? Sometimes in revealing ourselves to our children and letting them know that you've been there, that you've done the same things, and what you're really trying to do is help protect them from the pain that you felt. Maybe when they realize that you're just trying to be helpful and not trying to discipline them, that's where connection really happens. You see, when we peel those masks off, sometimes we're really able to realize who we are and what we need, and we're not afraid to ask any longer. By pulling that mask back just a little bit, we can ask for the help that we need to be successful. And now our supervisor, our boss's boss, can help us with the skill set that we need to get where it is that you want to go. But we're so afraid of the negative that we keep that mask on and we don't get the help we need. My friends, I encourage you today, take those masks off, or at least pull them back to reveal enough of yourself to where true connection at church, at home, with your partner, with your friends, with your children, at work. Pull those masks off. Let people know who you really are. Let them know what you really need. Because where you reveal yourself, where you reveal your heart, where emotion is really able to take place, that's where you really move forward every time. I'm not going to just put this out there without asking you to take a look at the last time you made a huge step forward in your life, or you made real connection and you were able to really truly move forward. Did that happen with the mask on, or was it because you pulled the mask off and you were willing to be real? I think, if I had to guess, it's when you were really willing, I hope I said that right, to be real with somebody. So my friends, pull the mask back, pull it off, make connection today, whether it's at home, whether it's with your partner, whether it's with your children, whether it's at work, whether it's at church this weekend. Let people know how you feel. Let people know what they can do to help you. Let people into your inner being, your inner circle. I think that's what we're going to find is where that real connection and that next leap forward, that broken chain can be dropped, and we can really, truly help ourselves. My friends, I want to thank you for being here today. I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you joining me every single day. And I hope that by the faces that I continue to see, Janine, I saw you jump on late. Thank you for being here. That's where we can really find us moving ourselves forward. Thanks so much. If you want to see more videos like these, if you want to see more helpful hints, more life tips, more ways that you can improve, you can not only find us here on Facebook, you can go to chainbreakers365.com, where you can also find the entire library of videos, as well as Chainbreakers 365 gear. Along with that, you'll be able to go to YouTube to Chainbreakers 365. Go ahead there and subscribe to my channel, and you'll find these videos there as well. Well, my friends, I want to thank you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Do me a favor, come back and join me tomorrow. Come back and join me tomorrow for the very first broadcast in November for Chainbreakers 365 Live. Thank you, my friends. I thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you for tomorrow's episode of Chainbreakers 365 Live. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy yourselves. I know I will. Bye now.